crimes that we do to each other. For Black Love and Unity Faith Mission Empowerment Week, I declare that there will be no crime against another. That we need to spread that mindset, brainwash people with that information. No crime against another for the whole entire week. Go ahead.
Good thought, anyway. Good evening, everybody. I am Reverend Pinckney Butts.
Mind your way?
No,
Okay.
Rape is real, and I've experienced it. My children have experienced it, and my grandchild has now experienced it. My grandbaby. Sexual abuse is real, and I have a lot of rape reports on file. And I think my first one I ever did was when I went to Baldwin Wallace College. A guy who was president of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, an athlete, and a member of student government, locked me in his apartment and raped me. And that's the first time I ever had a real sexual encounter with anybody. With a guy. It was horrible. And I've never been the same since then. And I've been raped many other times since then. And not one of my rape people has ever been arrested. Including the ones who have raped my children and my grandchildren. And recently, a detective in the Cleveland Police Department Sex Crimes Unit told me that he's not going to do anything for me unless I have an attorney. And my response to that is, so I'm supposed to be dead and abused because I don't have an attorney? And I'm going to walk over here real quick. These, right here, are some of my rape reports that I have filed. Kids are being kidnapped and held captive in my home that my parents gave me. Not left me, my parents are still alive. Trusted into my care, one of my homes. Kidnapped my 4 children in the house. The police purposely wrote the report up wrong and put the wrong address on there. I lived at 2994 Ludlow Road. They put 2988 Ludlow Road. And it's not possible for it to be a mistake because I did a 911 call and they came to my home. And they didn't go to 2988. I lived at 2994. My children have also been sexually abused by children of their age, with police reports in Cleveland and in Shaker. I have a rape report in Alabama, Fairfield, Alabama. I have reports of abuse in Southern Ohio and in other places. And I'm not taken it seriously. I was beat so bad one time by my son's father that I ended up with my rectum in my underwear, and Cleveland Clinic sent me out of the hospital like that. You can look at these if you want to. Feel free to see the rape reports of this. And I'm currently seeking a protection order against another guy who has sexually violated me in Cleveland, where I was told that my robbery report from when he beat me up and dragged me down the street was thrown out. And he called himself Prophet Thomas. Prophet Billy W. Thomas Jr., who has also violated my grandchildren. And recently, as of last Wednesday, he was stalking me in a grocery store in another jurisdiction outside of Cleveland and told me he knows where I live and if I'm ever caught by myself, what he's gonna do to me. He said he was having sex with me in my sleep. And because of the other abuses, I now have a lung disease where I was actually, and if you look at those reports, they never got routed anywhere. They never went to a detective. They never went to the prosecutor's office. They never went to sex crimes. They never went to a supervisor. They never went anywhere. And I recently was reviewing my matters because I also reported these matters to the Department of Children and Family Services. And they lied in the report and said an investigation was done on one of my matters that never got done. And how I know it was never done is because no one ever contacted me. So how can you investigate a matter and you don't contact the victim who
Yeah,
reports it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was told by the Department of Children and Family Services that my baby's rectum was torn. And it was done by his dad. He works for the city of Cleveland.
And that's a female or a male?
Male,
Oh,
a man,
I mean,
So-
the baby was the male, it's
a
a child.
boy, yeah, baby boy. My reports are thorough. And when I came back to Ohio, my landlord and the other tenants bought into this process, and I was kidnapped out of my place of residence, locked up, beat up by Cleveland police, etc. After my landlord passed out my keys and told people I was mentally ill, and that I was crazy. And I've been asking the Federal Bureau of Investigations to do an investigation for me. This is taking place under the leadership of Michael McGrath as the police chief for the city of Cleveland, Gerald McFall as the sheriff, Bob Reed, and some others. Bill Mason, Timothy McGinty, and some others. Mayor Frank Jackson's been trying to help me as much as he possibly can. And he is the one leader, if I can talk about anybody, who embraced me.
Frank Jackson.
Mayor Frank D. Jackson. My councilman, Jeffrey Johnson, openly called me a liar in city council chambers after a council meeting, who has never been to my place of residence to see it. Neither has he done an investigation on my police reports.
This is a councilman.
That I voted for twice.
Okay. Of your ward.
Of the ward, yes. He told me he will never help me with anything. This is the same councilman whose pastor sexually violated me in my home, in my parents' home when I was a teenager, and showed me porno movies in his church office. I'm gonna conclude by saying this. I don't know why I'm kept alive and why Jesus Christ has kept me, but I know that Jesus Christ has. And I've lost my children to this situation.
Because they didn't believe you.
More than that, they took my children and turned them against me.
Okay.
And I had an incident last week with my oldest child. My son just got out of prison where he was raped in prison by the guards because I called to check on him a month before he got out, or 2 months. And one of the case managers called me, disrespecting me on the phone. And I called and told them, tell that woman don't ever call me ever again. And because I did that, she put my son on parole. My baby boy was robbed from me. And not one attorney today has represented me to help me get my children back. Not one attorney today has represented my civil rights, my human rights, or my constitutional rights in this matter. Now, one attorney today has prosecuted anyone who has been sexually abusing me